Here's your broadcast-ready script for Old Trafford news. Let me be honest with you. This summer at Manchester United isn't just a transfer window. It's a statement. It's Michael Carrick walking into Old Trafford and telling the world exactly what kind of club he intends to build. And the moves they're making right now? They are bold. They are ambitious. And they are absolutely worth your attention. Let's start with what happened on the final day of the Premier League season. United travelled to Brighton, put on a show, and walked away with a convincing 3-0 victory. Champions League football is already locked in. Third place. Done. But the story that came out of that game wasn't about the scoreline. It was about a two-word answer from a United player that sent the internet into a frenzy. Patrick Dorgu. Standing in the mixed zone talking to journalists after the final whistle. Brighton midfielder Carlos Baleba had just been introduced off the bench in the 58th minute. At the end of the game, Baleba spotted Dorgu talking to reporters and shouted his name across the corridor. When a journalist asked Dorgu whether he'd like to play alongside Baleba at United next season, Dorgu simply smiled and said, "No comment." That was it. 2 words. And yet somehow that half-smile said everything. Now here's the backstory on Baleba, because this is a saga that has been building for 2 years. United have had eyes on this kid for a long time. The Cameroon international was desperate to make the move to Old Trafford last summer, but Brighton's valuation, sitting at £100 million, was the wall that United couldn't climb. So the move didn't happen. And what followed was a difficult season for Baleba. Brighton boss Fabian Herzler was actually candid about it, saying that all the noise surrounding the United links had genuinely affected the young midfielder. He called it understandable, the kind of thing that comes with being young and hearing your name mentioned in connection with one of the biggest clubs in the world. But it derailed him. He started 23 league games this season but was dropped from the starting 11 for that final day fixture against United, the very club he'd been dreaming of joining. Here's why that matters heading into the summer. Baleba's form has dipped, which almost certainly means Brighton's valuation drops with it. United are in the market for midfielders, multiple midfielders. Casemiro is gone. Manuel Ugarte is expected to follow. That's a significant rebuild right in the middle of the park, and Baleba suddenly becomes a much more realistic option than he was 12 months ago. But Baleba isn't the only name generating heat around Old Trafford right now. Far from it. The deal that looks closest to the finish line is Ederson from Atlanta. And this one is moving fast. According to journalist Matteo Moretto, United and Atlanta have reached a verbal agreement. The fee? Around £34.5 million with just over £4 million more in add-ons. Ederson himself has given the green light. The Brazilian midfielder was left out of Atlanta's final game of the Serie A season, a 1-1 draw with Fiorentina, and his manager Rafael Palladino didn't even try to hide why. He said the decision was mutual, agreed with the player because there is something going on in the transfer market. He didn't name United specifically, but he didn't need to. The whole of football already knows where Ederson is heading. He's 26 years old, he's been one of the best midfielders in Serie A, and at that price, United are getting serious value. Now this is the part where things get genuinely exciting, because while Ederson looks like a done deal, Michael Carrick has apparently set his sights even higher. According to Italian football expert Gianluca Di Marzio, Carrick specifically wants Sandro Tonali, the Newcastle United midfielder. The former Serie A star who has rebuilt his reputation at St. James's Park after serving a betting suspension and come back looking better than ever. Carrick isn't just interested. Di Marzio says United have made Tonali their primary transfer focus. And the feeling is that there is a real chance a deal gets done. Here's where the intrigue lies. Newcastle have what's been described as a gentleman's agreement with Tonali. If they fail to qualify for the Champions League, he can leave. Going into that final weekend, the Magpies were 10 points off the top 4, but only 3 points off a European spot. With an inferior goal difference to Chelsea, the picture isn't rosy for them. And if Tonali walks away available at somewhere between £69 and £86 million, you can be sure that United won't be the only club calling. Arsenal were reportedly sniffing around in January. The race for Tonali could be the biggest story of this summer transfer window. And yet, and this is where the ambition of Carrick's vision really hits you, there's still another name on the board. Elliot Anderson. The 23-year-old Nottingham Forest midfielder who has been nothing short of sensational since making the move from Newcastle to the City ground. He is now valued at £100 million. He has attracted interest from Chelsea, Tottenham, Manchester City, and United. Nottingham Forest's manager made no promises about keeping him, simply saying that the market is the market and everything can happen. That's the language of a club that knows it can't hold on forever when the biggest clubs in England come calling. While all of this is happening in the middle of the park, there's also a significant storyline unfolding on the attacking front. Marcus Rashford's loan spell at Barcelona is drawing to a close. And it has been remarkable. 14 goals, 14 assists across 48 appearances for Barca this season. That's the form that reminded the world what Rashford is capable of when he's happy, when he's playing, when he's free. Barcelona have a £26 million purchase option, and now Frenkie de Jong has publicly backed the club to exercise it, urging the board to sign Rashford on a permanent deal. The question is whether Barcelona can make it work financially. If they can't, the conversation around Rashford's future becomes fascinating all over again. And on a more bittersweet note, one chapter closed this week that deserves to be acknowledged. Sonny Al-Joffrey, who spent 14 years at this club from youth level, has said his farewell. He shared a heartfelt message on Instagram, talking about growing from a boy to a man at Old Trafford, about making brothers for life, about always being a Red. He only got a brief taste of first-team training under Carrick during the injury crisis, and it wasn't quite enough to earn a permanent place in the squad. At 21, the journey continues elsewhere. But 14 years at this club means something. It always does. So here's where we are. Ederson looks done. Tonelli is the big swing. Elliot Anderson is the dream. Baliba is the smart by waiting in the wings. Rashford's future hangs in the balance. And Michael Carrick, less than 48 hours after being confirmed as permanent manager, is already reshaping this club in his image. This is United moving with purpose. This is United backing their manager. And this summer is just getting started. If you want to stay on top of every twist, every signing, every leak, and every breaking development, make sure you're subscribed to Old Trafford News, hit the like button, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Which of these midfielders do you want Carrick to prioritize this summer? Let's hear it.